we are discussing the reactor designing. In addition to that, the stresses and strain developed in the pressure vessels. This reactor designing, when we consider, it is from the two perspectives. One is the kinetic perspective and second is the mechanical perspective. In kinetics, that is chemical reactor designing or chemical reaction engineering subject, we are going to study the kinetic aspects. From these kinetic aspects, we are going to calculate the reaction volume. From there, the reactor volume that is decided. Now, this reactor volume is the basis or input for the fabrication of the reactor. Actually, a metal reactor has to be fabricated, or not necessarily the always metal reactor, it can be the other material also. So this fabrication is requires a certain dimensions. This volume, calculated volume from kinetics, is the basis for the fabrication. There, the length is decided, diameter is decided by considering the L by D ratio. Generally, L by D ratio is between 1 to 2, and that can vary depending on the gaseous or liquid reactions. For liquid reactions, it is in between. L by D ratio is 1 to 2. Generally, it is kept as 1.5. It also depends on the temperature conditions. That means the vapor load, as the vapor load increases, this L by D ratio that may increase to accommodate the more generated vapors. Now, while considering these aspects, we have to consider the fluid handled, then whether it's a continuous reactor reaction that is taking place or intermittent, then what will be the geometry of the vessel, then what is the material of fabrication that is to be considered. Now, when we are considering the different aspects, that is, the pressure vessel looks like this is the simplest figure for the pressure vessel which one can draw. You can also draw this figure. Then we have to, now we will see the industrial scale reactor. This is the general geometry of a reactor. This is incorporating the metal wall or the cylindrical shell of the vessel, the head of the vessel, then the certain inputs that is to be considered, certain outputs that is to be considered, then the impeller and the agitator plus the motor, this agitator assembly that incorporates the motor, the gearbox, the shaft, and the impeller. All this assembly makes the complete agitator. Besides that, there is another figure also. This is the simple design industrial scale again, which is incorporating the motor, speed reduction, then here the sealing arrangement that is to be provided, a mechanical seal that can be provided, or certain gaskets that can be provided. Then this is considered as the head. This is the main wall of the vessel. Around that, there can be a jacket for heating and cooling purposes. This is what the impeller is. This is the shaft that is provided. Certain deep leg for pressure measurement or pressure measurement that is to be done. Then the baffles to prevent the vortex will be there. So, and at the bottom, the drain valve, certain input and output arrangements are to be provided. So this makes the complete reactor, and this is to be remembered. Now to fabricate the pressure vessel, you require a metal sheet. This metal sheet is to be first bent, and then this is to be welded vertically. And to this metal sheet, once the welding is done, then the another welding for the head that is to be provided at the top, and similarly the another welding is to be done for the head, that is the bottom head at the bottom. So that will make the complete assembly. So this is what is generally is fabrication of the vessel is done. Now this is having a curved surface. So this metal part, there are the different stresses that is to be, metal stresses will act on this, the different stresses will act on this metal. When we consider the different stresses, we will see the small part of that, and this is what a certain thickness of that metal sheet thickness is considered, and this is what the curvature of the metal wall is there. Then the three different stresses that will be acting on this, that is the circumferential stresses or the hoop stresses. Second, the longitudinal stresses or the axial stresses. And third, the radial stresses will act. However, in case of a thin wall vessels, the radial stresses are neglected. However, the circumferential stresses and the longitudinal stresses are of importance. Now consider this as the metal part. When we pull this metal part in the upward and the downward direction, these are the axial stresses. Here we are considering the vessel is vertical. We are considering the vessel in a vertical direction. That means this is making a vessel, and we have taken this as one part. This is what the axial part, vertical hai, parallel. That is what the axial part. I am pulling this. This is the axial stresses. That means a single page I am taking and will be pulling in this direction, upward direction, and the downward direction. Then this is considered as the axial stresses. Now I will pull it from this side by curving, by bending this, and will pull in this direction. This will make the radial stresses. This will be the circumferential stresses. These are the circumferential stresses. And the third is the radial stresses. That means radial stresses will be acting on the inner part and will be going out from the outer part. That means on this side, on this edge, the radial stresses will be there, and on the outer, the radial stresses will also be there. Inner part, inner radial stresses and the outer radial stresses. But for thin wall vessels, these radial stresses, they are neglected because the inner radial stresses as well as the outer radial stresses, they are more or less same. So if it is pulled from these two directions, upward and the downward, then this will make the axial stresses. If it is pulled from these two directions, it will make the circumferential stresses. And this to outer side, that will make the radial stresses. Now we will see it in the figure. In this figure, the longitudinal stresses, that is in a vertical direction, the circumferential stresses and the radial stresses, that will be observed. That means this is the curvature. Now we will see the different stresses, that is the longitudinal stresses and the radial stresses. Now this is the cylindrical vessel, the wall that is there. This is the wall thickness. The different stresses, if we will take out a part from this, and will be stress element that is to be considered. The longitudinal stresses which is acting vertical direction. Longitudinal stresses which is acting in a vertical direction. Longitudinal or axial stresses we can say. Then the second, the tangential or hoop stresses or the circumferential stresses, that is acting along the circumference. And the third is the radial stresses which is acting in this direction, that is the inner surface and the outer surface. So this is the internal pressure that is exerted inside the vessel. This internal pressure causes the stresses on the metal wall, and these stresses, that will be when we will consider that this is the longitudinal stresses. We can see these are the longitudinal stresses. This is for the pressure area, longitudinal stresses that is there. And this is calculated by using PD upon 2T sigma or F, which is equal to PD upon 2T, that is used for calculation of the longitudinal stresses. Now the hoop stresses or the circumferential stresses, they will act on this surface. The longitudinal stresses, they will be acting on this surface. However, the hoop stresses, they will be acting on this surface. So that is what it is, pulled like this. It is pulled like this. Hoop stresses, circumferential stresses. We can draw this in this figure. These are the axial stresses. A minute here. Now, this is the axial stresses that will be acting. Then this is what the circumferential stresses. This is the outer diameter and this is the inner diameter of the vessel. We have taken a certain element and these are the circumferential stresses or tangential stresses. And the same figure you can also draw. This is the axial stresses. Now in this case, this cylinder is kept horizontally. So these are your axial stresses. These are your circumferential stresses and the radial stresses will be going outwards. So these are the three different stresses and they are of most concern. Then we will see the certain formulas associated with this. We have already talked the three different stresses. Okay. The circumferential stresses that is represented by the Ft or sigma t, which is equal to PD upon 2T. The longitudinal or stresses and the radial stresses, which is PD upon 4T. Now the actual design pressure and the actual pressure that is there. For considering this calculation, we are taking the design pressure. This P is the design pressure. Actual pressure is nothing but the operating pressure. Operating pressure multiplied by 1.1 times or 1.2 times. That is how much safe you want to design your reactor. That is the multiplication factor of safety. That can also be sometimes 1.5. That can also vary from 2 times or 5 times depending on the severity of the process. If it is corrosive fluid, if it is hazardous liquids, if it is poisonous gases, then this factor of safety drastically increases. So this value that may become 2, 4, 5, that depends on the process requirement. Then D is the mean diameter, Di internal vessel diameter, Do external vessel diameter, Di, then T is the thickness and F that is the stresses. The for cylindrical vessel, thickness is PD upon 2T because we are considering the circumferential stresses. These circumferential stresses, when we consider this thickness, that becomes PD upon 2T. This will give me the higher value, higher thickness as compared to PD upon 4T, which is calculated by considering the longitudinal stresses. So for calculation of the cylindrical vessel, thickness is calculated by using PD upon 2T, and the thickness for spherical vessel is calculated by using PD upon 4T. So the thickness for spherical vessel will be half the thickness for cylindrical vessel. Then we are introducing the joint efficiency J. So the thickness calculated, that will become equals to PD upon 2FJ for cylindrical vessel, and for spherical vessel thickness will be equals to PD upon 4FJ. This is by considering the joint efficiency. Joint efficiency is nothing but the welding efficiency. It can be 100% if it is radiographically tested, or it can be 85%. If it is a crude welding, then it can be also 50% that can be considered. So 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 or 100% will be the joint efficiency. Now we can substitute this thickness which is equal to PD upon 2Fj and derive the certain formula. Substitute D which is equal to the, D is nothing but the mean diameter, which is equal to internal diameter plus the thickness. That will be obtaining or simplifying PDI upon 2Fj minus P. Similarly, substitute D which is equal to DO minus T in the equation of T which is equal to PD upon 2Fj and simplify that, so that you will get thickness which is equal to PDO upon 2Fj plus P. Now, thickness calculation for the average vessel diameter, this is your formula. Thickness calculation with the internal diameter, this is formula. Thickness calculation with the external diameter, this is the formula. Then the corrosion allowance that is to be added. Means from stresses, we have added the joint efficiency. Then we have taken the internal diameter, outer diameter and the mean diameter. Now the corrosion allowance that is to be added. Corrosion allowance, if it is a non-corrosive fluid, then this corrosion allowance will be 0. Or if it's a corrosive fluid, then it can be 1 millimeter or 2 millimeter or 3 millimeter depending on the nature of the fluid. This corrosion allowance is to be added. So total thickness will be the thickness calculated by the stresses plus the corrosion allowance. So similarly, the thickness calculation with the corrosion allowance for the average vessel diameter, thickness calculation with the corrosion allowance for the internal diameter, then the thickness calculation with corrosion allowance with the external diameter. Then this same equation that can be simplified in terms of the stresses also. So thickness which is equal to PD upon 2Fj, so you can simplify that and calculate the value of stress F which is equal to P di plus T upon 2Tj. Similarly, you can calculate it for the outer diameter also. So the stresses due to the applied force, which is the force per unit area, which can have the units of Newton per millimeter square. Then stresses due to its own weight or and its contents, means whatever the liquid weight that is there, that will be also taken into account. Own weight, weight of the vessel, that means this is the weight of the metal which is available, and the content means the liquid which is inside the tank. So F stresses, that will be the weight per unit area. These calculations are with the cylindrical vessels. So similarly, we can also do the calculations by considering the spherical vessel. So in case of a spherical vessel, it is the 4Fj instead of 2Fj. So all these 2Fj that will be replaced with the 4Fj for spherical vessels. This is all about the stresses. Now the strain that will also exert. The strain, that is the change in length to the original length. So whatever the changes, minor changes, that is the difference in the length to the original length, that will be calculated as the Hoops stress. So this is what is the design consideration. That means we have to basically calculate the thickness of a pressure vessel. When we design the pressure vessel, we are going to calculate the thickness. The thickness by considering the stresses, the pressure vessel and the diameter of the vessel. Plus you will require the joint efficiency and the corrosion allowance. Now based on this, we have to solve some problems. by considering the different formulas associated with this. When we calculate the different formulas, we will see that in our next video for calculation of the thickness.